Well, hey guys and gals, old guy riding. I've had the bike for a little over a year now, and I thought I would just give you an update as to how I like it and anything that I may not like. You may notice that I have a new windscreen. The reason for this is when I motovlog, with the windscreens being what they are, the other two that I have, the stock and the Max Aeromax, I'm getting a bit of wind in the audio when I hit high speeds. I'm trying to find a windscreen that is going to help alleviate some of that wind noise I'm getting in my audio. This is a Puig. It is the racing windscreen, and I have it at the highest setting, and I'm feeling the wind somewhere up and around my visor. Now you'll also notice that I've changed the location here of my camera, and I have it lower as well. So hopefully we will cut down on some of the wind I'm getting in my audio. So now that I've had the bike for almost 13 months, how do I like it? Well, I like it just fine. There's absolutely nothing that is of main concern to me on this motorcycle. I have made some modifications, but those are just personal things. The one modification that wasn't a personal preference was I upgraded the seats. Now I know I said in an earlier video that the seat was comfortable, and it was, but time catches up to all of us, and time caught up to that seat. The foam started to compress. And maybe it's because I'm getting older and my muscles are atrophying, but it started after 2-3 hours on the bike. It started to irritate my butt. Now maybe if you're younger and you have more meat on your butt, it may not be an issue for you, but for me, it was becoming an issue. And before it came too much of an issue, I decided to upgrade. So what I did is I bought the Kawasaki gel seats, and I installed them, and so far so good with them. The proof will be in the long run. Everything else with the bike is absolutely beautiful. It shifts as smoothly now as it did when I first bought it. And I think the key to it running as well as it's running is to maintain it properly, which I like to do. I don't really trust the dealership, and I have a couple of examples of that. With the MT-09, I had to take it in for a reprogramming of the ECU. It would take 40 minutes, I was told. I was there about an hour and a half, but no big deal. It was a rainy day. When it was done, I failed to do a pre-ride check of the bike. Normally I do it, but I figured I'm at the dealership. They're going to make sure everything's good. So I rode all the way home in the rain without brake lights. How did I find that out? Well, I had the Nelson rig bag on it, and I didn't want to keep the Nelson rig bag on the bike when I took it to get reprogrammed. And with the Nelson rig bag, the straps fit underneath the seat, and then you hook the bag onto those straps. When I got home, I took the seat off so I could put those straps back for the Nelson rig bag, and that's when I noticed that the brake light connection had been disconnected and not reconnected. Can you say incompetent? What if I had gotten slammed into because nobody saw my brake lights? The second time was with this bike here. I took it in to have the USB port installed. Looking back on it, I should have done it myself. But I did do a pre-ride check before I left the dealer. And part of that pre-ride is I bounce up and down on the foot pegs. After I got done, I noticed that there was a piece of plastic underneath the bike. So I looked at it. It looked like it might have been part of a fairing. I had been watching some videos because I like to know what they're going to do when they do certain things. So I took this piece of plastic inside and I said to the service manager, I said, it looks like a piece of fairing to me. And he said, oh no, it's too small. I said, well, let's check. So I referred him to a video I had watched on YouTube. This particular video, the guy, once he takes the cowlings off, or fairings, whatever you want to call them, he turns them around and shows you the connections. Lo and behold, it was a perfect match for the piece. Took the bike back into their service area, and like a minute later, the service manager comes out and gets me, takes me back. The technician had only taken off the side that had been damaged. How did he know which side to take off? Why weren't both sides off? Was it just by chance that he took that one side off? Or could it be that he knew that that's where the damage was and he just didn't want to let me know? How would I have ever known? So, strike two on the service department at the dealership. I wasn't going to allow strike three, so I started watching some YouTube videos and started out with the small stuff, changing the oil filter, cleaning and lubricating the chain, adjusting the chain slack, and then slowly but surely you just add a little something here, add a little something there, and I got to the point where I can do most of the maintenance myself. I never had any idea that I'd be able to synchronize the throttle bodies. I'm like, what the hell is that? But you watch videos, you do a little research, and it's not all that hard. The hardest part about synchronizing throttle bodies is taking all the other parts off to get to them. Once you're there, 10 minutes, you're done. And I make sure that I always take pictures. Just before I'm about to take something apart, I'll take a picture. But this bike runs beautifully. I mean beautifully. Whether you're using the quick shifter or manual shifting, smooth as ice. The stock tires, the Bridgestone Battle Axe S22s, they lasted me a pretty decent amount of time. I got a little over 5,000 miles off them. And again, watching YouTube videos got me to the point, what a cute dog, what a cute dog. Look at you. Got me to the point where I could do it myself. The front tire I took off using the old method with the tire irons. Took me a bit of time. I eventually got it and actually got the new tire on the rim. But holy cow, I decided right then and there I got to do something to make this a little easier. Now the easiest thing I could have done was just take it to Cycle Gear, where I purchased the tires, and pay them maybe $65 to install and balance them. But I wanted to do it myself, so I ended up buying a Repliconda, and wow, what a difference that made. After almost 13 months, no real complaints. I upgraded the seat. It still gives me everything I need and want in the bike. Whatever mood hits me at the time, the bike can adjust to that mood. I would highly recommend this bike to anyone. The brakes work beautifully. I use both front and rear brake. The clutch is nice and soft. I have a good feel for it. Could hold it in forever. Maintenance has been fairly easy. The worst part about maintenance is taking the cowlings and fairings off. But you gotta do it to access what you need to access. After 13 months, no complaints whatsoever. I give it 2 gigantic thumbs up. It's an awesome bike. If you're on the fence about what sport touring bike you may want, I would highly recommend this bike. But don't take my word for it. Get yourself to a dealer, and hopefully you can get yourself a test ride.